it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Thanks for stopping by my channel. I am going to share 5 pens that surprised me, and they surprised me in a good way. I was doing some inventory of my pens and I came across a handful that I thought, you know, when I started out with this pen, I didn't think I was going to either use it as much as I do or like it as much as I do. I think I am going in chronological order according to cost. I will put the links that I can find down in the description. The first pen is the Pilot Lightive. This is a fine nib, and if you've been around for a while, you know that this may be my only fine nib, maybe 1 or 2. But it has been such a sturdy writer to take in my bag every day. It's in my everyday carry little pen and stationery stuff kit. And I love it for making lists. I love it for writing in tight spaces. I have this filled, it's a cartridge, and I have it filled with, I think it's just like seriously just plain Noodler's black. And so I'm not going to do an ink swatch for this one because we all know what black ink looks like. But when I run out of ink, I just put my syringe in there and fill it right up. It's super convenient and it writes really well. This was given to me by a friend who had traveled to Japan, and she knows that I love fountain pens, and so she brought this back for me, and that's special in itself. And it's even more special that it goes with me in my bag every day. So this is pen number 1 that was a pleasant surprise. Pen number 2. Now, y'all know I love my Twsbis, and so it would be no surprise that I would love a lovely red Twsbi. What I'm loving about this pen and what I'm so happy about is this is a stub 1.1, and Twsbi nibs, in my experience, maybe you have had a different one, Twsbi nibs can be a little inconsistent, and I have a couple of stub nibs that I cannot get to flow like a stub nib should, even with a very wet ink. And this Twsbi combination of the 1.1 and the classic Diamine Writer's Blood is such a great combo. I really was surprised that I have had such luck, because I've had a few Twsbis that, like, really, how can this be a 1.1 stub? But look at that. It just flows. So this was a pleasant surprise because it is such a good writer and it behaves like a stub nib should. Now, the Writer's Blood in here, normally I would put something a little brighter in here because it's a pretty bright red, and that's a very candy apple red, right? But I found I have probably had 5 or 6 inks in this pen trying to find the one that I really like and just the one that I feel like the pen likes the most. And Writer's Blood has just been it. So I've left Writer's Blood in this pen for quite some time, and I don't know that I'll need to swap it out. But, you know, with stubs, you expect that you're going to be able to put, you know, some pretty, shimmery inks or inks that, you know, have some fun stuff to them. But boy, I have been a little disappointed with my Twsbi stubs, but this one just is a great writer. Next up on our list is a Kaweco Student. This is in a medium, and it might be student something, I don't remember, but it's some student something, if you were to Google it. I signed up for a box, so you know you get a monthly box with a bunch of goodies in it, and this came in one of those boxes. I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's okay. It's actually pretty heavy, and it has an interesting grip. There is no texture on this grip whatsoever. It's very slick. And I've actually had a couple people try this pen out and tell me like, oh, I just don't like that feeling. I didn't think I would either. But just like my lightive, I throw this one in my little carry-on bag every day. It is filled with Colorverse Ham, which is a fun blue and kind of a purpley rose-colored shimmer. So I'll do a little sample of that in a second. But I've been really happy with this. It can be a little bit of a hard start. Looks like it's wanting to be a little hard start, and I'm okay with that because this diamide or these Colorverse Ham is pretty shimmery. Normally I'll just go in and squeeze the it's got a converter or a cartridge, so this is just a cartridge. It didn't I think it came with like pre-filled cartridges, and I'm not about that life, so I actually had purchased a bunch of cartridges off a blank empty cartridges off of Amazon. And so when I have a pen that maybe comes with pre-filled cartridges and no converter, and I'm not concerned about putting a converter in it, I will put my own ink in it. And that is what I did here. So because I'm not going to put any other ink besides this this Colorverse Ham. I don't know why I want to keep calling it diamine. So I'm okay just to let that ink live in this pen, and it did skip a little bit for us. You can see I haven't written with this pen today, so it doesn't surprise me that it was a little bit rough. I like the weight. I like the size. You know, I don't cap my pens, so I've just got this pen over here. And interestingly enough, even though I do like textured grips, this does not bother me at all. It's just kind of interesting that I like this as much as I do, and I do use this very often. Now the Colorverse Ham, this is the teeny tiny little bottle. My ink muddler will not fit in there, so I am going to have to use a little pipette. And I love these Colorverse little baby bottles, but they're kind of sometimes can be a little tough to work with because pens don't fit in them. Syringes sometimes, yeah, I guess syringes will fit in them. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm making it out to be a bigger deal than it is. Okay. So hopefully we'll get some shimmer in here, and you can see, because this is a really pretty ink, and I like the matching. Even though it's significantly darker, and it's still wet, it'll dry it, but it still is. It's significantly darker than the color of the pen. I think it's a nice match. We'll look at that ink again once it dries and see if we have some shimmer. The fourth pen that was a surprise is the Opus 88 Mini. This is the Baby Beluga model. I didn't get this right away when it came out. I think this was just a collaboration only with Goldspot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I got mine from Goldspot. I waited a little bit to get this, and then I just kind of kept coming back to my favorite part of this pen are these waves. I'm just really attracted to those visually. I just like those. Now, I think it's funny though, this is called Baby Beluga, but there are no beluga whales on here. No, there are no beluga whales. I'm okay with that, but I just kind of thought it was funny. Right? I'm not missing a beluga whale here, am I? This is a medium nib. Now, the thing about these little Opus pens is they can be a little tricky to get going. So they have this twist back here that releases some pressure, gives in some air. I don't know, but Opus tells you open the little back end to get the ink flowing. Well, sometimes I'll do that and the ink won't flow, and so I'll close it, and then the ink will flow, and then the ink will stop flowing, and so I open it. So it's kind of a game of opening it and closing it. It's a little bit annoying, but what I love about this pen is how bouncy the nib is. This is a medium. So if we look at this medium line to this medium line, like this looks like a bold, right? And I really like, I have 3 of these little baby Opus minis, and all 3 have really bouncy nibs. I didn't expect to really like this pen. When it writes, when it's flowing, which thank you, Baby Beluga, for doing this on camera, I really like it. Like I said, it can get a little cranky and just have to work with it for a second. I have Diamine Indigo in this. It does not have any shimmer. It's a standard ink. I think it is such a solid blue. Really, really like this blue. Forgot to write the ink down for the Kaweco. Sorry, it's late. I'm recording this after my first day back to school after spring break, so I am a little cross-eyed. Okay, so here's what I do. So this guy is being a little bit cranky. Here's what I do when it's a cartridge. I will pull the cartridge out and I'll just kind of squeeze it. So if I squeeze it, you can see a little bit of the ink comes out. I will dip the nib in the ink just a smidge and then hope that it just kind of picks up. You can see that just from dipping my nib in the ink just a smidge, it got it going. And you know, it's kind of a pain, but fountain pens can be like that, right? And then our Baby Beluga again is a weird little thing there. Okay, the last pen, I could probably go on all night with different pens, but for the last pen that surprised me is my Pelikan M400, and it's this tortoiseshell, I think. I don't remember the exact name of what they called this. This was not an inexpensive pen, and I knew because it had this lovely barrel. I love this. I knew I was going to like it. What I didn't know, because this is my one and only Pelikan, I did not know how great the nib would be. That was a surprise. And I don't take this pen to school just because it is kind of plasticky, and I'm afraid, you know, if it got crunched in my bag, it would crack or break. But this nib, this is a medium, and it is probably one of my favorite medium nibs that I have. And if you can see how wet that is. This has olive swirl in it, which has a lot of shimmer. And look at how it put that ink down so nicely. So this kind of wins my, hey, you surprised me, because it just writes really well despite having a lot of shimmer in it. I don't know if I've ever put olive swirl in any of my other videos, but if you like olive green colors, it has such a fun shimmer in it. This was part of the Inkvent calendar a couple years ago, I think. I don't think it was 2024, maybe 2023. And I really like it. I'm going to hold these up so you can see the ink and the line of the nib. So there's the Twsbi in Writer's Blood with 1.1, and it does have some interesting sheening over here. You know, some people will be like, I don't see sheening on my Writer's Blood. I think a lot of it has to do with the paper. Oh, there's the Pilot lightive. It's just a classic, just a really, it doesn't hard start for me. I mean, like, it's just a champ. I really like it. Here's the Kaweco Student, and we saw this kind of being a little skippy. This was better once I kind of tapped the nib in the cartridge, and you can see the shimmer coming out. It's still a little wet, but you can see the shimmer coming out in that ink. It's really a nice ink. There is our baby beluga. That's a medium nib again. Sorry, I didn't write all the nib sizes down. Baby beluga, it's got some cool shading. I like it. And then finally our Pelikan M400. And I feel like, ooh, in that writing sample, you can see some of that shimmer of olive swirl. It's lovely. All right, so here are 5 pens that surprised me in a positive way. I am also going to share, unfortunately, 5 pens that surprised me in not so great of a way next video. But what do you think? Do you have any pens that were great surprises to you? I would be curious if you have any of these, what you think of Twsbi 1.1 stubs, if you have luck with them. I have had one that I just finally gave up on, and I'm going to have to buy a completely new nib. But if you have a pen that surprised you, I would love to hear about it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will link these pens and these inks best I can. Thank you if you're still sticking around. This wasn't the most organized video because, like I said, I just got back from spring break and I'm a little cross-eyed, but I just wanted to pop on and say hi. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.